because I want to have this. Can you see me in the camera?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect. Well, first, I just want to congratulate you, Wanda, on putting this incredible book together. Forgiveness is one of those actionable things that I think is one of the most difficult things that we'll ever do in life. But it is also, I believe, one of the things that also can keep us progressing forward when we don't forgive. And so before I read the forward, if you guys don't mind, I would like to open up this beautiful book called the Bible and read some scripture just so that we can make sure we align scripture with what we're talking about. Is that okay? And if you want to take notes or go back and refer to this, because for me, understanding like forgiveness is important. I always knew that, but I didn't know like what it meant to forgive. Like, what does that mean that you do or don't do? You know what I mean? So in the Bible, I found the scripture that actually tells us what we should do. And it is in Ephesians 4:31 and 32. So if you want to open it in your phone or if you have one with you, Ephesians 4:31 and 32. And I'm reading King James Version. I think this is a King James Version book. So it says, get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling, and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ, God, forgave you. And what I understand this to mean is that when we make a decision to forgive, we have to remember to, first of all, speak great things, right? But not keep bringing it up. Not keep talking bad about that. That's something that I even had to like tell myself, like, okay, you said you forgave that person or you forgave that situation, but you keep bringing it up in a negative way. And so I learned quickly like that, okay, I hadn't forgiven. It's time to forgive. It's time to speak greatness into that. And also remembering that just as God has always forgiven us for all the stuff we've done wrong, we have to remember that for God's children as well. So I'm going to go ahead and read this forward. And thank you guys so much for allowing me to be here and to share that scripture. So I got my fresh copy of the book. Okay, forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the hardest assignments that God will ever give us, and one of the most freeing. I've learned this both professionally and personally. As a woman of faith, an author, and someone who has walked through deep loss, disappointments, and betrayal, I know that forgiveness is not a soft concept. It is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. Forgiveness is a decision to stop allowing your past to control your future. This book, Forgiveness, Walking in Freedom Through God's Grace, is not written from theory. It is written from experience. Wanda does not just write from a place of perfection. She writes from a place of obedience. This book exists because God was not going to let her move forward without first healing what was behind her. And that actually takes courage. Everybody say courage. It takes courage. Many people want healing, but few are willing to do the heart work that is required to receive it. Forgiveness forces us to confront what we would rather bury. It asks us to release what feels justified and hold on to it. It requires us to trust God with pain we cannot fix ourselves. And this is why this message, this book, this information is so necessary and it is so timely. As you read the pages, understand this. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about your freedom. It's about clearing space for peace, purpose, and the next level that God has prepared for you. Thank you very much. That God has prepared for you. Let me see where I'm at. Last slide. 1 second, y'all. Is this good? Okay, I just make sure. I said, I wrote that. Yes. That God has prepared for you. Unforgiveness keeps us tied to people, situations, and seasons that God has already delivered us from. We got to let it go. Wanda's story is proof that when you let go, God steps in. Everybody say steps in. I'm so happy that Wanda decided to write this book because I knew her story would truly unlock healing in others. What she's once survived is now serving as a roadmap for those who may feel stuck, heavy, or spiritually blocked. This book will challenge you, but it will also comfort you. It'll remind you that God's grace is not limited by your past and that freedom is still available. So if you are holding on to pain, resentment, guilt, and anger, I invite you to read this book with an open heart. Let God meet you there. Let him do what only he can do. Forgiveness is not the end of your story. It is just the beginning. Walk boldly, walk healed, walk free. My name is Teria Vision Avant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Teria. That was amazing. Give it up again for Teria. Thank you, Teria. All right, next up, we have Wanda Pearson. So I'm going to read a little bit about the author, and this is if you guys already bought the book, this is on the back of the book. So Wanda Pearson is a speaker, certified coach, and founder of W.D. Pearson Associates. Known for her empowering voice and spiritual insight, she helps women, families, and entrepreneurs overcome emotional setbacks, protect their purpose, and rise through grace. She is the author of God's Grace Through the Fire and host of the podcast Ready, Set, Collaborate. Without further ado, Wanda Pearson.
I'll just do it on my phone. Okay.
So today we have the honor of hearing from author Wanda Pearson, whose powerful book, Forgiveness, Walking in Freedom Through God's Grace, speaks directly to the heart of healing, grace, and true freedom. Wanda, thank you so much for being here today. To get to celebrate you. I'd love to start by hearing a bit about the heart behind this message. So, what inspired you to write this book at this point in your life? Was there a specific moment where you felt called to share this message on forgiveness?
Yes, it was. It took me 2 years to write this book. It took me many years to write God's Grace Through the Fire. God's Grace Through the Fire, from struggle to triumph, how I buried so much deep inside that I didn't even know, I can remember. So I actually have to give my cousin Darlene, who helped me remember some of the things that happened to me. But this God's Grace Through the Fire was my pivot of writing it, getting it out there, because I know many people need to hear about this, but it took me 2 years to write the next book. To write this, because I knew I had to forgive. And like Teria was saying, Teria, you said it, hit it right on the head. So much stuff we hold inside, and we don't let it go. Even now, look, when you all drove here, when you get married to people that was moving slow on the road, right? So that's forgiveness too, because then words start coming out your mouth and you didn't mean to forgive me that, right? But that book actually, this book was, it took me 2 years to write this one, Walking in Freedom Through God's Grace. And the thing about it, God had already put this on my mind, but I have to give it to Teria, who said, Wanda, you need to write a book on forgiveness. And I was like, really? But the pivotal moment was when she actually she was my confirmation. Let's put it that way. She was my confirmation to write. He wanted me to write it all along, But this was the pivotal moment to say I needed to let go, let God. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that I said, God, I was at our daughter's house for Christmas, and God woke me up and he said, Wanda, let go, let God, release. Let's say that. Let go, let God, release. Release all of the things that's been holding you back from your blessing. Release all the things that's been bothering you. And that's where the transformation comes into play. I mean, I can talk forever.
Thank you. So, for someone who feels stuck in unforgiveness. Sorry.
We got the DJ and the mic. My son-in-law right here. And he's back there at the kids' table. You can hear it?
Okay, yeah, I guess I am a little loud, but yeah, I was saying, okay, for someone who feels stuck in unforgiveness, maybe they've been hurt deeply, what is one practical step that they can take today to begin moving forward towards healing?
That's a mic.
This mic, can you hear me?
No, it's not a mic.
It's for the camera. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No, hold it in your hand.
One pivotal step is to realize what you've been holding on to. You know, I tell you when God had actually told me to let go, and I was telling you, when we first moved here, I went to a total forgiveness class, Bible study class. Can you imagine total forgiveness? And he put stuff on my mind, actually told me then, you need to forgive your stepfather. So I was like, what? So one pivotal moment is really, that's when he tells you, but you gotta listen to that little tiny voice to say, what am I holding on to? What is holding me back from moving forward? When you don't move forward, that means you're stuck, right? So to get unstuck, that's when you need prayer to continue to ask God to help you move forward, to be able to heal. So that particular moment was when I was able to heal and to receive my blessings, because all of a sudden things started happening for me. But it's really hard when someone continues to hurt you, right? Every time it's something that you're thinking about, that, okay, I should have did this, I should have did that, oh, I'm still mad at that person. Let it go. Let it go, because you're not hurting them. The pivotal moment is that he said, forgive yourself first. I'm asking him to forgive other people, me to forgive others, but forgive yourself first. I never understood that. Why do I have to forgive myself first? Because I didn't do anything. But it's something that you need to really think about and say, what is holding me back? And what's holding us back, especially when things are not working out in your favor? Just think about it. Think about it and ask God to say, help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. And I'm going to tell you one of the things I used to say all the time, this too shall pass. Anything that you may be going through, this too shall pass. But you have to be willing to let it go. That's where your transformation and your healing comes into play. So, I don't know, did I answer the question?
Thank you. So, with that, how do you navigate forgiveness when the other person hasn't apologized? Or maybe they never acknowledge the hurt, and how do you still move on to forgive?
Ooh, that's a good one. So we've been married, Dennis and I have been married 45 years. And I said, you didn't apologize to me. But it's not for him to, it's for God to help work on that person. But you have to actually forgive them and ask God to work on them. When you don't do that yourself, when you're trying to handle the situation yourself, that's the hardest part. Because then you wonder, why is this not happening? Why are they not doing what I'm saying? Why they keep hurting me like that? So it's really up to you to let God handle that situation, because we can't handle it ourselves, right? We can, but then what you do, you're holding on to other people's problems. So releasing that and asking God to help you with that. And I know it's hard, because I tell you, When I was growing up, when I did my book, God's Grace Through the Fire, I never understood why somebody would abuse and physically, mentally, and emotionally abuse you and don't say, I'm sorry. I just never understood that. And I was a child, I said, well, God, what did I do to this person? We always wonder, what did you do to somebody, why they continue to hurt you? But that's making you stronger, right? When you let it go, that's making you stronger to be who he meant for you to be. And it's actually just letting it go and letting him take care of that problem. I was just talking to someone, actually coaching a lady, and I said, you know, we hold on to stuff for so long, and where is it getting us? And I don't understand why I have to forgive myself first. You know why you have to forgive yourself first? Because you're holding it inside. And you can't do anything about the other person. You gotta let God handle that person and have to release it, right? Release that burden off of you. That's really the big thing. Release the burden off of you and put it on God. Let him handle it and go on about your business, because that person, next time they come to you and they say something hurtful, oh, God bless you. I forgive you. All of those words make a big difference when you say, I forgive you. And they look at you like, well, wait a minute now. You know, you forgiven me. What did I do? You don't even know what they did. That's the thing about it. They don't even know what they did to hurt you in the first place. I'm going to leave it at that.
Thank you. So in your book, you talk about the 7 steps to forgiveness. And it says the 7 steps are to identify your hurt. Start by pinpointing the source of your hurt. Acknowledge your hurtful emotions. You know, what are you feeling? Forgive yourself and let go. Breathe in compassion. Forgive unconditionally. Be grateful, and then love again. For you, like, what would you say is the hardest part of that, you know, forgiveness, the forgiveness journey, that process? Like, which step do you think is the hardest for you?
What was the 7 one? Love yourself first. Yeah, love again. So love again, because we'd be so hurt. It's hard to love someone who continue to hurt you, right? So that was the hardest part for me as far as love again, because it's like, why should I love that person when they are continuing to hurt me? So love again was the hardest step that I had done. And I'm going to go back to my stepfather. The thing about it, I'm from Chicago, right? So he actually, I saw him one time on the street. He said, oh, this is my daughter. Oh, no, I am not your daughter. You know, that was my hurt. Unforgiveness, baby. Well, Wanda, I love you. How could you love somebody that you hurt all the time? I just didn't understand that. So that's when God put it on me. It's not up to me to judge him. It's up to me to be able to help myself. And helping myself means loving myself again. Helping myself to love that person and ask God to help them to be able to move forward and realize. Because, you know, I mean, it's funny, well, not funny, but that person is dead and gone. And we still holding the grudge. Let it go. Let God release. But yeah, love again was the that was my pivot moment.
Thank you. So, you know, for those out there today, so, you know, some people can feel like forgiveness is impossible. You know, it's hard to forgive. It's hard to, you know, take that step. What would you say to them right now for people who feel like, I can't forgive that person. They hurt me so bad. You know, what advice would you give?
I would actually, you know, I'm an affirmation. I have to say, my STARS team is here. I do mentoring in STARS. So what do? I give them affirmations. I would say start with some affirmations about yourself, about them. Letting go, I am strong. I am talented. Anything that actually is going to bring you out of that situation, I would say just let it go, let God, and have him deal with that situation. So it's hard to really think about that, of loving someone who has hurt you so much. And I tell you, I remember him saying, you would never be anything. You would never do anything for yourself. And I said, look at me now. My parents would be so proud of me as far as how far I've come, but not that can hold you back. Don't let anybody steal your joy. That's my biggest thing. I always used to tell my mom that, and I ended up becoming her mother. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Because that is really what God gave you, your joy. When you let it go, let God give you your joy back, and pray for that person who continue to hurt you. That really is what matters.
Thank you. So in chapter 6 of your book, so you talk about forgiveness and healing and how letting go transforms your life. For you, how would you say forgiveness, working through forgiving different people, but how would you say that's transformed your life?
I would say it's transformed my life by writing this book. It took me 2 years to write this book, and I'm giving it back to Teria, because Teria actually, we were talking about that, and I told her, God, He's giving you forgiveness. Just like when I wrote God's Grace Through the Fire, I was kind of pushed towards that. But transforming I had to stop and go with this book. Because there's a lot of things that I was still holding on to. So even today, we still hold on to it. But when you actually let yourself be able to transform and heal yourself, because if you continue to let that hurt fester inside you, you're not healing. And that person who's hurt you, they're winning. So who do you want to win? You want you to win, right? Right? Do you want to win?
Yes.
Okay, so win, transform, heal. That is really what, okay, Zuri, you gotta come up here with me. That's what my little grandniece said. But no, just the transformation of writing this book and being able to heal, and also coaching with that as well, because I'm a social worker. When I worked at IBM for 36 years, I was still doing social work. Because people were coming to me, and I didn't know why they were coming to me and asking me questions, because they saw the vision that I had. But it's actually helping those who get stuck and not ready to heal. And that's why my coaching comes into play. I want them to heal. I want you to get back to the person that God intended you to be. So, I had my t-shirt on earlier, and this has been my verse, Jeremiah 29:11. And it's been on all of my books. You see my books, and also in my thing. Does everybody know what Jeremiah 29:11 is? You know what that means? Yeah? So God gives you that hope in your future to not harm you, but give you hope to be able to move forward. Jeremiah 29:11. When I left IBM, I told Tori when I first wrote my first book, my own book, I want that verse to be on all of my books, even my book ones. Jeremiah 29:11. So having that on my book, number B, exactly what it says. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you, but give you hope in the future. We all have a future. He always gives us hope. So some of us may say, but God's not doing anything for me. What? He's not, why am I going through this situation? Well, that's because you're not letting go of what you're holding on to. When you release that hurt, when you release that pain, and when you release that person who's having a grudge, who's been holding you back from your future, that is when you need to let go, let God release. So, Jeremiah 29:11, that's what really got me going and moving forward. Does it make sense, you all? Yes. Okay? Hope.
Yes, thank you. So, I love this. I was looking at page 84 in your book, and you talk about how to begin forgiving when it still hurts. And I'm just going to read it because I love what you said here. It said, let's be real, some wounds go deep. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you won't still feel pain, but it opens the door for healing. And here are a few ways to start. So first, to talk to God about it, honestly. I think it's just praying. Write a letter you don't send. I've had friends do that. Say out loud, I release this, I choose peace. Surround yourself with people who speak life. And I just want to add to that, to my, mental health professionals in the room, but definitely like seek therapy. That's something that helped me. But like therapists are amazing. They can help you to just navigate from where you are to where you want to go. And so definitely, seek counseling as well. But is there anything you want to add to this?
No, it's so true because, sorry. That is so true. And I wrote it, but I forgot what I wrote in it, but no, this. But no, it really brings back what I really said. Therapists, I get you to the point where to help you to realize what needs to be done. And that's when my coaching comes into play. But the therapist, I have my therapist in the room, my client, she's going to say something in a few minutes, that it makes a difference. It's deeper than just coaching. I want to make sure that you actually be able to realize that mental health is very, very important. It's very important for you to release anything that's holding you back, but also to know what it is that's holding you back. So, yeah, that's very important.
Thank you. So, of course, you guys are gonna have a chance to read the book. But what's one thing that you have a lot in here? But what's one thing that you want readers all over to walk away with? Because you're on Amazon. I know, Zari, if I'm competing with you, but you're on Amazon. But yeah, for all the readers, what's one thing that you want them to get from this book?
Transformation. Transforming, healing, all of those things actually makes a big difference when you finally let go, let God, and transform into something that God already had planned for you, right? Your future is something, because you have to share. I have a legacy. I have a legacy to move on, like my daughter, my two beautiful daughters, my 6 grandchildren. That legacy is something, and I actually gave each one of my grandkids a book. Because even they, in middle school, in grade school, they still got to forgive with someone who bullies them, right? But no, I want transformation and healing to take place as far as, and the freedom. Being free from what's holding you back. Does that make sense?
Awesome. Well, thank you. Is there anything else you want to share?
I just want to share about, I want to thank you all so much for being here today and heard what I had to say today. It's a journey that so many of us are going through, right? Are walking through. Forgiveness is not just emotional, it's a transformation. So that is why my forgiveness coaching program, to help you release what's been holding you back, rebuild your confidence, look forward to clarity. Clarity is a big word because we don't realize it. And the peace, using my PACE method, which is to take a line, create, and elevate. Healing is just the beginning. Walking in freedom is the goal. And that's why I named my book Forgiveness, Walking in Freedom Through God's Grace. Because when you release yourself and free yourself from that, this is actually what that's where the transformation comes into play. So, all right.
So if people want to seek your coaching, how can they seek you out?
They can seek, I think they put a QR code over there. Oh, it's on my website. wdpearsonassociates.com/coaching. I'm sorry, this is my graphic designer, so she knows more about what's in my website than I do. So yeah, you can seek me out by wdpearsonassociates.com/coaching, and I can help you with that. So, but thank you all so much. I appreciate you all being here. A lot of people can come, but I am so proud that I got you all that came. Celebrate.
All right, WDP Pearson Associates. So next up we have, did you want to introduce Shania Russell?
Yeah, Shania.
Okay, or Shania, I don't know.
Yeah, you got your name, Shania. Shiner. Shina. So Shina, I am so thankful that you came to share this with me. And Shina is one of our clients too, but Shina is our therapist. So not only what I'm talking about forgiveness, but she have a few words to say about what she do as far as a therapist and mental health. Thank you. And I'm getting her out of her shyness too. She's on my podcast as well.
Thank you, Ms. Wanda. So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Shina Russell, and I am a licensed professional counselor, also approved clinical supervisor. And yes, Ms. Wanda is getting me out of my shell. I do not want to be here, but for her, I am here. Just thinking about different components when it comes to forgiveness, a lot of times this is really something that's misunderstood, and people don't realize that it's really about an emotional process. Again, thinking about when people feel betrayed and hurt, there's other underlying emotions that come along with that, maybe some guilt and shame and things of that nature. So from a therapist perspective, I like to say that we have to go underneath what's presented itself and do the deep work. And I think that is part of the healing process and the journey. And I heard from the book, I haven't read it yet, one of the first things is recognizing where you are. And again, understanding that that is where the process begins. I'm kind of stick to my script so I don't forget anything. All right, so forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood emotional process. Many people think forgiveness means excusing what happened, forgiving the harm, or pretending it did not hurt, or even reconnecting with someone who hurt you, or even the spiritual side where it's getting over it immediately. But forgiveness is none of those things. Forgiveness is not about minimizing the offense, it's about releasing the emotional grip the offense has on you. From the psychological standpoint, when we experience betrayal, abandonment, or deep hurt, our nervous system goes into a protective mode, and the brain tends to store this. At any point you experience anything related similar to that, your body remembers that, and it gives off a response to that. So one of the things that we do in therapy is we teach you how to recognize that and give you tools to help you process and work through those different emotions. I want to just highlight a couple of key things that therapy will help you. Again, it will create an emotional safe space. A lot of times people can't work through the forgiveness process because they don't feel safe. They don't want to share what they've experienced, so creating that safe environment is very important in the process. Also helping you to learn to regulate your emotion, like the nervous system, because that's a big part of it, because we act out of emotions and we don't have control over those things. And sometimes we tend not to make the best decisions when we're in that space. So learning grounding techniques, reframing your thoughts around the situation and things of that nature will help you to move forward in that process. It helps you to separate the event from your identity. Not what happens to me. So therapy gives you that space where you get detached from the thing that happened to you versus who you are as a person and who you want to become. Someone mentioned being stuck. That's a very important thing in the therapy process to help you move from being stuck to prospering. I like to say, live life to the fullest, for sure. It helps you to establish healthy boundaries. That's a big thing for a lot of people when it comes to forgiveness. Like, you need to be able to establish those boundaries. I can forgive someone, but you can't have certain access to me, and it's important to have the tools to be able to do that. And one other thing here, it allows you to grieve. And when we talk about the grieving process, that's another thing within itself. So you can definitely grieve the relationship you thought you had, the apology you may never receive, or the childhood you felt that you deserved. This version is someone who believes in themselves. So again, grief is a part of the forgiveness process. Okay, I'm going back there. All right, so forgiveness is less about the other person and more about freeing yourself from emotional captivity. Forgiveness is not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about deciding the hurt won't control your future. It's not about weakness, it's about strengthening your boundaries. And sometimes you don't forgive at all. You may forgive in layers, like it might not happen all at once, but over time and then through a process. Therapy is very important. Of course, it is an important part of the healing process. So if you're struggling with forgiveness, know that you're not behind, you're not broken, you're only human. Again, healing is a part of the process and it is possible. So thank you, God.
I was saying, so Coach Mon, who just came in, he's actually my collaboration partner, but he's going to be coming in a minute. But, you know, what do y'all think about this board here? You do. Apologize for things you do. Inspire. Forgiveness. So I love this, some of the kids came up here and wrote some words, right? Weakness. Who wrote weakness? Olivia. I love that. Jesus. I love that. Who wrote Jesus? Okay, my God. Grace. Who wrote Grace? All right. Freedom. Who wrote freedom? Who did freedom? Okay, see that's what I'm talking about. Freedom. Peace. That is really what forgiveness is peace. That's peace of mind. I love that. Who wrote peace? Who did peace? Okay, nobody want to say peace, but anyway, peace. EWM, what that mean?
It's ill.
Ill. Okay.
When God comes to you, it says ill. My first thought was ill, and then it goes to the name, so it says really God.
That's my family table over there. We like that. And oh yeah, I can see that really God. Really God. And I love this. Breakthrough. Who wrote breakthrough? I love breakthrough. That is so awesome. So no, thank you all for doing this here. My daughter, she thought about doing it. Remember the Soul Train board? But Tori didn't remember that during that time. She didn't know what it was about. Scramble the Soul Train. Yeah, so I have to give that to Danielle. Give it up for Danielle doing the food and also my grandchildren who helped do the decoration. So our granddaughters, where's Avery and Lila and
There was Zuri.
they actually did the balloon bouquets over here. Give it up for them. So thank you all so much. Who did this one over here? See, I didn't come in until the end, so I don't know who did what. But this balloon. But thank you so much. And this my daughter, they so creative. That's why Danielle's been my event planner. She does all of this stuff. I don't need to come in and even take over stuff. But thank you all so much for this. So without further ado, I tell you, I'm gonna have to Coach Mon. We did an event at Teria's event, New Year. And somebody asked me, am I doing a forgiveness retreat? I said, yes, I am. And Coach Mon, I said, that's collaboration. He said, I want to do that with you. So I said, that's awesome. You just never know who you meet at these events and who actually is your partner. But collaboration is my key word. Collaboration is the key to success. So Coach Mon's going to tell you about, when he's talking about the retreat, what we're going to be having. I'm like, I want to go. Even though, but it's awesome. It's going to be awesome. So really having this event is something because, forgiveness is just the beginning of it. But we're still on a journey. You got to continue to have a journey to move forward, to keep going. So my next journey is a forgiveness retreat with Coach Mon. So give it up for Coach Mon.
Hello everyone, my name is Coach Mon. I am a master stretch therapist and a master motivator and a life strategist as well. I'm big on identity, all right? Which means that I'm big on forgiveness. Throughout my journey, I have had to forgive myself. I would like to do a small activity. Everybody pull out your phones for me, please. Small activity, quick. Pull your phones out. Go to the camera for me. Go to the camera on your phone. Now face the camera towards your face. Everybody put the camera to your face. Like to where you can see yourself. To where you like a selfie. All right? Just to where you can see yourself. Right? Now press record as if you're doing a video, not a picture. Press record. And I want you to repeat after me. I forgive myself.
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 Now stop recording. Now this is something that I would like for you to practice and to do. If you are not training your mind consistently, then you're just telling yourself that you're having passive thoughts as you are going through your journey of forgiving yourself, or your intrusive thoughts can win because they are trained. Your intrusive thoughts are trained to hit you at bad times, to penetrate your mind. So make sure you are witnessing yourself to see that you are forgiving yourself consistently, all right? Now this forgiveness retreat here, this is amazing. I do retreats all of the time. I have not done a forgiveness retreat. In the forgiveness retreat, the way that we are going to handle it is we're gonna have breath work, right? I'm going to teach you what breath work truly is, from inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, along with some other exercises, stretching, and letting you know the importance of why you should stretch and move your body, creating the blood flow, okay? To find your new identity of who you are. A lot of us, we have trained ourselves to be exactly who we were at 15 years old. So, if we are not shifting our behaviors, then we might not know who we are today when we look in the mirror. We might be holding on to who we once were. So I will have a lot of strong facilitators in the room who have their own experience, who have forgiven themselves, and who can teach you and show you through their experience as well. We will have food for you, and it will be at a resort-style place out in Douglasville. Amazing. However, it is an all-day thing. I would like for you to prioritize. I have people that say it's too far. I have people that say that it's too long. And then they see the results of how people have come and how they feel changed. She stated today that forgiveness is transformative. That is not something to take lightly. Because we don't feel words, a lot of us do not hold on to them and study them to where we can actually become better within ourselves. So the forgiveness retreat is something that is really a non-negotiable. If you cannot make it, please still sign up. Please stay in touch. Please try to learn different practices to help your mind become better at the free-flowing state that it needs. You are not too old. It is not over for you. You can still forgive yourself from within. You can still let go. You do not need to be stubborn. You do not need to be prideful. There's another side of you. There's another side of harmony. There's another side of balance that you have not reached yet. And that is what this retreat will do for you. I'm Coach Munn. It is a pleasure to speak to you all.
Thank you, Coach Munn. All right, so like you said, they're having a forgiveness retreat. If you're interested, there's a QR code right over here at this table. So before you leave, make sure you scan the QR code so you can sign up, and they'll send you more information about when it is, where it is, how much, all those details. Also, Wanda wants to remember everyone who came to her book signing. So there's a QR code on the back of your program. Make sure you scan that so you can, it's a quick little Google